Welcome to Make It Your Business, the podcast. Get the advice you need to grow your business by getting guidance from industry experts and interviews with successful small business owners. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
How's tricks?
Not bad, you got your drink?
Ah, yes, coffee. You know me. You wouldn't know. You don't drink hot drinks, do you?
Any hot chocolates?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good man.
Yeah, not coffee or tea, man.
Not the caffeine addict that I wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
Where's my coffee? Don't talk to me kids until Dad's had a coffee.
It's not even that early, is it? It's like what we, 1:30?
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, what was it?
Today's topic.
Newsletters, that was it.
Yeah.
So I was talking to producer Tiff.
Okay.
And she was saying that a lot of talk about newsletters.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, when we see a client and we're proposing, sometimes they come to us and say we want X, Y, and Z, fine. But sometimes they say, what do I need? And obviously, it's one of my core columns is a newsletter.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to touch base because I don't think people really truly understand the importance of it.
Okay.
Now, in a nutshell, a lot of small businesses forget to communicate with existing and past clients on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
Some might argue that you could call it branding.
Yeah.
Very, very honed and unique, but
Yeah.
to actually re-engage, and I haven't got any data with me, might be interesting for me to pull some up, but when we introduce this as a strategy, we come in to look at the marketing as a whole, but it's a very well-known fact that it's easier to sell to somebody who you've already sold to before
Yeah.
than obviously take somebody new. So re-engaging those clients with a regular newsletter on a monthly basis
Yeah.
with information, action-packed. You can put case studies in there, you can put some news.
Yeah, so I think that's quite important. So, because we get asked quite a lot of the time, and I think there's two important questions for newsletters. So, first of all, is like, what do you put in a newsletter? So, what content goes into it? And then, second of all, how frequently do you post them? You don't want to bombard your customers with.
Well, that's where I differ with a lot of people. I think in today's world, where our attention spans are short and the amount of information thrown at us is massive, I do not believe there's a frequency you can contact your customers where you piss them off. If you provide a good quality product or service. I don't know. Catching like that. Yeah, so if you provide a good quality service, I have never counted how often Amazon email me. It's at least daily, sometimes twice a day. And I'm never pissed off with them. Excuse my language, that word offends you. But if Joe Blogs Chimney Sweep, who I use once a year through compliance of sweeping my chimney at home, email me every day, I think I would be. They'd be like, well, Joe, take your chimney and go sweep it. So I think there's a context. So most B2B customers, we say that monthly is the minimum, weekly would be great. But a lot of companies of a smaller size just don't have the time to make that much content.
Yeah, because you need content to put in the newsletter, because otherwise it's not a newsletter, isn't it? It's
Absolutely.
Trying to push yourself.
We try to, on the smaller companies, we try and reutilize content.
Okay.
So we will take the content created for the social platforms and respin that. So if we're, on social, let's say we've done 8 to 10 posts over a month to keep clients engaged, or our clients, customers engaged, we will repurpose that and respin it for newsletter content.
Okay.
But then you'll also add into there things like maybe a case study or an example or a quiz, a review. So you can tell a bit about what you've been doing. But the other thing I like about newsletters is it's your opportunity to help So if you help your clients, let's say you're, I'm trying to give an example now, a washing powder brand, and you're giving tips and tricks on how to get red wine out of this, how to do that, how to dry your clothes. Nothing sales orientated towards your product.
Yeah.
You'll naturally be seen as helpful and the expert, and sales will magnetise towards you regardless.
Yeah.
So I think, you shouldn't be too salesy in a newsletter, in my honest opinion.
Yeah. Because if you do, then it's just going to turn people right off, isn't it?
Now, if we've got a particularly aggressive sales strategy for a growth pattern, we will interlace a sales orientated email to our clients in between those newsletters.
Yeah.
But at no point do we try and disguise a sales push as a newsletter, because I think you can then break trust. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah? Because I think, the second you try and blur the lines or try and be smart, or then you're trying to trick your client, and they smell it.
Yeah.
They smell it. So, if you want them to buy something, ask them to buy it.
Yeah. Newsletters, like included in the name, it should all be about news.
Absolutely.
And you're just being informative, and it's not a sales letter. It's more about trying to
Don't get me
educate.
wrong, news can be, this particular widget's half price this month,
Yeah.
but it shouldn't all be about let's sell more of these widgets.
Yeah.
Like, that's genuinely honest, great news to the client. It can go in.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I don't think people really understand, it's a bit like financial compound interest. We can send a newsletter out for 12, 18, 24 months before a client will engage.
Yeah.
And verbally, I've had conversations with people that are like, "Oh yeah, I've been getting your newsletters. I've been keeping track of you. Now I'm ready to engage in the buying process."
No.
And that's interesting, because you can't force somebody to buy something they don't want or need.
Yeah.
You can, that's trickery. But
Yeah.
you shouldn't, and it's very, very hard. And you should only sell to people who want what you're offering. But sometimes they don't want what you're offering at the time you're offering it. So again, that helps, and that compound, it's really hard to see, because so many people will quit after 3 months, 6 months.
No.
Oh, this isn't working. And the magic doesn't come till 12, 18, 24 months, where that person's like, okay, this company's saying good messaging, helpful, longevity.
Yeah.
In a world where businesses do spring up and go pop quite quick.
Yeah, because I've done it before. Like being looking for bits for the house. And then go on a flooring website, and then you'll sign up to a newsletter, and then I didn't necessarily need flooring at that particular time. I was just looking for inspiration.
Yeah.
But like they'll send sort of like monthly newsletters, and then knowing at some point I will need some
It's
flooring.
branding, and it's Clarence's Flooring.
Yeah.
And at the point when you need the flooring, you go, "Oh, what's that company that emails me?" And you'll either know it, or you'll go to your email. But I certainly do. Go to my phone, I type in flooring in the emails.
Yeah.
And that's those guys. Yeah, I saw. Because I don't know if you do this. I do read the newsletters, but not necessarily engaged.
No. Yeah.
Sort of like flicking through, skim
Yeah.
read, and if it happens to trigger something and resonates, I'm on it. So
one thing that I think is quite important to brush up on as well. So as a small business, you obviously want as many people or as many target customers on your newsletter database as possible. So, like, if you can potentially try and incentivize people to sign up to a newsletter.
yes, that is true. Okay, so as many people as possible is contextual, because I've seen clients that have, we take on their business, and they may have 10,000 people on their email list, and their open rate is a disaster. It's like less than 1%.
No.
And actually, a lot of those people who are on that, I don't know where they got them. Maybe they bought the email addresses. Maybe they. The truth is, it doesn't matter. But they're not their clients. They're not their potential clients. They're just anybody. That doesn't work either.
Yeah.
So yes, more people as possible, but you want more people that are within your demographic. I think we did an episode once on if we didn't, we should do on how to
What persona and
you create your avatar of your ideal customer and what that looks like. But the point being is, yes, you want more, but you only want more of the people who are going to buy.
the people that are on your website are obviously interested in what you're offering.
That's the truth. So you need to get a sign up there. It's amazing the amount of people. But you also, with the right terms and conditions, if somebody purchases off you, you can auto apply them to a newsletter if you've told them during the purchase process. Hey, you bought this woolly hat. We'd love to keep you up to date with news of other woolly items we sell,
Yeah.
new products and tips and tricks,
Yeah.
please tick here if you do not want to be kept up to date.
Yeah.
Because, you know, most clients do. If they bought that glass, they're going to be interested in other glassware.
Yeah.
At some stage, very few people, I'm trying to think of items that I've ever bought, go, no, I never want to hear from you again. There have been some, you know, like
Yeah.
I'm buying this purely out of, you know, need rather than.
But no, so
Does that make sense? But I do, yeah, I mean, long story short, people should include a newsletter in their strategy for client growth, you know, customer growth, and every business should be growing. I mean, if you're not growing, you're dying.
yeah.
You know, if we're up 10% inflation this year, and you haven't increased 10% on your turnover,
Yeah.
you're essentially dying because inflation alone you should be 10% up on last
yeah,
year.
Yeah.
So yeah, you should always have that in there, and like I say, it should be consistent. So you know, if you are making this 20 pieces of content for a newsletter, you've got to ask yourself if that's sustainable. You know, I'd rather you did 5 every month forever
No.
than 20 on a newsletter for 4 months and just burn out and not do it again.
Yeah.
It's useless. So you know, consistency is key.
Yeah.
Try and utilise and respin content you've already created for other
Yeah.
things, and yeah, keep the sales out of it.
Yeah.
Keep it constantly updated. New clients, get those lists, get the sign-ups, and
Yeah.
it's a hugely powerful part of, you know, it's one column of a building. You know, several columns to
Yeah.
to growing companies with marketing, but it's definitely a strong one.
And yeah, I was going to quickly brush on software as well, because obviously there's lots of tools to try and help you create templates and design what it's going to look like.
Yes.
But also, you don't have to do it each month and set some time down. You could set that down, maybe a day, a year, and then schedule out all your
That
emails
is
to
true.
go out through the
That
year,
is true.
and then it's done dust. You don't have to, think about it again. But yeah.
I mean, it takes work. You're absolutely right. Yes, there's software out there that create templates. Look, if you're a really small business and you're not, you can send them individually, but it will take you forever.
No.
Something like MailChimp or Senderblue, they have free versions,
Yep.
so they're free to sign up to. I think they normally have their name on the bottom, don't they? That's why they keep it free,
Yes.
or up to a certain amount of people.
Something like that. Yeah.
There's a lot of software we use. You wouldn't know it's from a software.
Yeah.
But the truth is, consumers know this. They're expecting it to say MailChimp on the bottom of an email from a local company because, it's part of that game. But that does save you a lot of time. Again, there's some technicalities, but a lot of these softwares, they have really good tech support, don't they?
Yeah, and they have, obviously inbuilt GDPR, which is obviously quite important that you have to comply with. But yeah, they handle all of the unsubscribing and things like that.
But if you're busy and you don't enjoy it, or you haven't got the time, then you need to pay somebody, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, this is an important part. If you are a bricks and mortar shop on a high street, you either have to clean your windows
Yeah.
or pay somebody to clean your windows.
No.
It's very similar in my mind.
Yeah.
This digital marketing is part of business now. You have to do it yourself,
Yeah.
learn it, or pay somebody else to do it, like you would pay the window cleaner or the electricity provider, or insert other service.
Yeah. Maybe like in one of the future episodes, we can do a small business starter kit, and then just say to them, this is what you need if you're starting out a small business, or you've got a small business which isn't currently online. Yeah, you need to think about having.
Yeah, let's do like a rapid fire, where we sort of go around, use it, and we can just snap off some. I like that idea. Yeah.
Because every business is unique. And there's not a one size fits all for marketing strategies or that's why we sort of every business or client approaches
I
us.
genuinely don't believe there's a one size fits two.
Yeah.
I think every client, even if you're two identical businesses, there's always a slight tweak. It could be the owner's personality, the geographic location, slightly different service offer. So no, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, there are so many things to think about. But maybe we can sort of try and help out and.
I like the idea of that. Let's do that. Love it.
Cool.
So, but yeah, newsletter. Please do it. Go out and do it. As a PS to that, printing that newsletter and sticking it in the post is an added bonus. I won't go into it too much, but when was the last time you don't get much stuff through the mail these days? And there are some people doing some really interesting stuff with physical print off the back of your digital, so creating the digital mass send it and then posting it to key clients.
Yeah.
But we'll leave that as a little PS on the end there as a little thought.
Cool.
Good man.
All right.
Good to chat, dude.
Catch you next time.
Thank you.